Hello everyone, welcome. Stanford Prison Experiment. This is one of the iconic experiment that is being done way back in 1971. It details a lot about human beings' behavior as power comes to them, as when power is lifted from them. The history or the background of this experiment can be set like this. During 1971-1970 arena, there were a lot of communal riot that was happening in US, and because of that, a lot of youth were being put to jails. There were a lot of manhandling happening amongst the youth. So you could see a lot of people coming to jail, and the jails were getting filled. So based on this, Philip Zimbardo, he was actually a psychologist, so he planned to do an experiment in Stanford. This is iconically known as Stanford Prison Experiment. So experiment was done like this. He gave a notice in a local newspaper saying that people are wanted to take part in a live experiment, a psychological experiment. And they were given an amount for per day basis, and a lot of youth, especially youth men, were recruited for this. And a coin was tossed. Based on the toss of a coin, they were labeled as what you call prisoners and guards. And once they were divided as prisoners and guards, they were taken to a simulation setup. They were told in advance that they are going to be conducting an experiment on them, that is in a prison. And in this prison, there are many other prisoners. So just like a real thief or a prisoner is getting abducted, these prisoners, these people who were labeled as prisoners, were taken from their home, taken to the police station, and from the police station they were taken to the prison, and from the prison they were doing their strip search. They were given the striped clothes, and their names were not called. They were given numbers. All these procedures were done. And once these prisoners were taken to the cell, they were having their bunker beds, and there came the role of guards. Guards, on the contrary, they had powers. They could exert their power with verbally, but they were instructed not to use physical power on them. So this was the basis of the setup of the Stanford Prison Experiment. It was actually planned for 2 weeks, and the first day went well. There were no problems. Everything went smooth. The prisoners and the guards, everybody was okay. But on the second day, there was a massive revolt. The people, they were furious because they found that they couldn't get their basic facilities, as they were chained and they were not called by their names. And these people, that is the guards, they were getting into power. They were slowly started abusing them, giving them punishments of push-ups and prolonging them into deep cellar. All these things were there, so there was a revolt. But the revolt was suppressed with a lot of force, and they were given a lot of punishments. The people who initiated the revolt were given punishments. The people who kept away from the revolt were given incentives like good food, extra bed to sleep on, and those kind of incentives, which made them aware that if you try to insert more and more revolt, you will be given with more and more punishments. So on the third and fourth day, things all settled down. People, that is the prisoners, became more and more submissive. They became more and more, hearing and obeying the power. And the guards became very powerful. They started controlling them, giving them more severe punishments, at times manhandling them. On the fifth day, there were two different vivid incidents that happened. One particular person, he was acting maniacal, that is a prisoner. He became enraged. he started crying, he started showing all these behavioral symptoms that is as if he became so and so couldn't handle this particular situation. On the contrary, there was another person who was also feeling left aloof. He was into depression. He couldn't behave normally. On the sixth day, the experiment was called off. They stopped this experiment because of the way in which this particular psychological impact that had on these prisoners was so huge. So this Stanford prison experiment is a classic example. It gives us lot and lot of insights how power can really become much more and more vicious, how the orders are getting obeyed by the submissive, and how over and above the psychology of the people can be trained, and how it can be manipulated in a physical setting. So I just gave a tip of an iceberg of Stanford prison experiment. I'm sure you will definitely go and read more and more about it. Thanks for watching.